Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the kitchen. It's me, Evan, and we're going to be doing a little talk about Don't Starve Again. Now, the last one of these I did perform pretty well, so it's only natural that I do another one. On the last one, I kind of talked general, broad stuff about Don't Starve, as well as some of the specifics on Warley, of course. Today, I want to delve deeper into Warley, how I play him, how he's best utilized, and what I hope to see in his skill tree. Now, I typically play Warley as a very mega-based centered playstyle, right? I like building big bases that are sustainable. They have resources, food production, farms, and they are able to provide me with the things I need to be um, the most utilize the character's kits. For example, goodness, at the two of the seasonings, both the pepper seasoning and the garlic seasoning require. Okay, well I can't find it. They both require the usage of farming, because without farming you cannot obtain a good enough supply of either of these vegetables to create enough spice for anything to really happen. Honey, you can kind of fudge, right? You can just break hives and stuff. You don't necessarily ever really need to build bee boxes, especially if you're playing with like a Wormwood or another character like that that's going to be farming bees for their stingers, or if you're playing Wartox or with a Wartox, farming them for their souls. You might not need bee boxes. Salt, that one's just not great to get because salt is kind of annoying. But it is true that if you have access to the wide variety of crops and fruits and everything that you need to, or if you have a wide access, oh my God, if you have access to a wide variety of ingredients, you can make the best usage out of Warley's kit. Um, and so I think that a comment that I saw in the last video was that they'd like to see that play style be not so necessary, right? They want to see more nomadic Warley playstyle being viable. And I agree with this. This is not something I had originally considered when thinking about Warley skill trees. I had always kind of branched it into, how in the skill trees they have different sort of categories. I had imagined there being a category for his personal like palate and food that he consumes, a category for his equipment, and a category for his um, ingredient gathering sort of deal. But a more nomadic thing that could play into maybe the ingredient gathering would be very cool. Like I think an idea I saw in that comment was a portable little gardening station, so you can grow things and keep moving. That's honestly, that's kind of an interesting way to play Don't Starve for me because I've always kind of focused more on building a base. Um, I don't know, but I think that'd be really cool to play out or tie with because when I play Warley, I mean I almost always play Warley and I almost always do the same thing, and so I like it, but I could see how that could be very boring for other people. Now, one of my biggest gripes or biggest problems that I see when I'm playing Warley is that I do not utilize the spices enough. For example, honey crystals. These things are so easy to make. However, I never really. I mean, okay, I utilize them, but you would think with the ease of access of them that I'd utilize them a lot more. I mean, Warley is always needing to eat, right, because of his crazy hunger drain. So what is the harm in eating a honeyed food before you go do a chore or some task? It'll greatly increase the efficiency, reduce the time. It's really good. So why don't I do that? Well, I think the answer boils down simply to the fact that it takes a lot of time. For you to cook something in a crock pot, it takes a click to open it, 4 clicks to insert things into it, a click to cook it, and then you have to wait and then pull it out. If you want to season it, it's going to be another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks. This almost doubles the amount of interactions that you need to do with your cookware to be able to create a spiced food. And cooking already kind of takes a lot of time, and you want to be really efficient, right? You want to cook in batches, you want to be efficient. I mean, that's the meta, is to cook in a batch and then store it in a pouch for later. So the fact that it takes so much more extra time to season everything one by one and that the portable seasoner is actually kind of expensive. I believe maybe the grinder is the one. Actually, wait. Okay, it's not that bad, but it is. It would still be like having to get, if you wanted to go 1 for 1 on the crockpots to seasoning stations, it would be like another crockpot for each one, and that it'd be quite of annoying. So it's since this extra time is required, I only ever find myself using the seasoning station for like big things like mining marbles, or I want to get a bunch of wood, or I want to get a bunch of rocks, and then I'm going to use the seasoning station. Now, garlic and pepper, it's the same story. Even after, or I mean, the first roadblock obviously is getting a supply of them, but once you have a supply of the crop, it really isn't that hard to have a lot of the spice. I mean, I end up having stacks and stacks of it when I play in long-term worlds. So why wouldn't I use it for every fight? Well, it's just the same thing. It just takes so much time to apply the seasonings. It's a hassle, right? So, idea for the skill tree, we have in the cookware section, we have a spot that's dedicated to simplifying this process. Possibly creating a advanced crock pot that has a spice slot right here that you can insert your spice before it's cooked, and it'll come out pre-seasoned. I think this would be really nice. I think I definitely use it a lot, and it'd make it a lot easier, more manageable to want to use spices. Now, following up with the spices, I definitely think that there needs to be probably an addition of more spices. Probably a planar defense or planar attack spice. Maybe that could be what part of the alignment is, that it focuses on planar attack or defense with spices. And this is just to simply get Warley into an endgame ready point of view, right? He just currently does not have things to deal with planar defense and planar attacks, so it'd be really nice to get him into a spot where he can compete with the other characters in terms of the endgame. Other major problems would be that I don't really like the chef's pouch. I think the chef's pouch is very mediocre. You could make it at the start of the game and you could use it, but like it takes away 2 slots that you could be gaining from using a backpack. It's not as effective as an icebox, and both of these things are very easy to get. I mean, I understand the point for that early game exploration of carrying it around. And I mean, if you really don't have gears, you can just place it down on the floor and use it as like a pseudo icebox. However, I just don't really think it stacks up, and I'd rather wear a backpack until I get an insulated pack, which is actually really good. So I'm not quite sure what they could do to expand the usage of it. Maybe it's expanded, but it's got limitations on it. Like it has 8 slots, but 4 of them have to be food. I feel like maybe then I'd use it. I don't know. I just think it definitely needs needs to be looked at because it is not really utilized. Now, I said there needs to probably be more spices. There also probably needs to be new foods. Just because, I mean, it's a skill tree, you're revamping the character, adding more to the character. You're not revamping him necessarily, you're adding more, and you need to add more foods, right? He's got plenty. I think Warley has a really, really versatile kit. He's a bit of a jack of all trades. I mean, if there is a problem, it can pretty much be solved with one of Warley's dishes. Spring and the rain is solved with the fish cordon bleu. If you really are trying to, not use thermal stones or something, you can solve both summer and winter heat and cold using the asparagus gazpacho and spicy dragon salad, respectively. If you need damage, there's Volko Chafroy. And spicy, what are they? Chili flakes. If you need protection, there's garlic powder. If you need, I don't know, swapping your stats, you have the Grim Galette. He's really versatile, and he can, oh yeah, no, if you need light, you can use freaking Glowberry Moose. And this is all really good stuff, especially since it doesn't use one of your slots. Don't Starve is big on the inventory management. So by not using one of those slots, you're saving, I mean, the opportunity cost of using a slot for light is, it's armor, it's, for if it's raining and you're wearing a raincoat, you can't have a backpack on. things like that. So Warley's various food-based buffs really help with that. And I think if we could have more to help deal with late game stuff or, you know, whatever, that'd be really cool. Um, Now that final part I was talking about, that resource gathering part, that could be the aforementioned planter box that you can carry around with you, but it also could be buffs to, say, fishing or butchering or farming even. Yeah, he's not necessarily a farming character, but he really does need to farm to get the full benefit of it. So, it'd be a shame not to let him have buffs in that regard. Also, I think fishing is criminally underutilized just because you kind of have to go out of your way to do it. And I think putting some more incentive for Warley to do that would be really cool, because dishes like Mokeka, uh, Surf and Turf is not nearly as good as it used to be. You know, oh, what's it called? I can really only think of Mokeka. I mean, fish sticks, obviously, but Mokeka is just so good, and that utilizes both farming and fishing. So I'd like to see if there was I'd like to see some buffs or some cool ideas towards both fishing, farming, and maybe even butchering too, just to get more resources out of a kill. Um, Now, the overarching problem, though, that I think they do need to fix with my boy here is his swap ability, right? Warley is a swap character. His skills, his buffs, his kit don't need to be utilized by him. He doesn't even need to be there for them to work. So what's the point in playing him, right? When you can play a better character and utilize his buff still. So what should they do to fix this? Honestly, it's a tough problem because I don't think they should take anything away from how it is right now, right? I don't think you should just say, you know what, Wolfgang can't eat full Ghost Froy. It just can't happen. I don't think that's smart. I think that they should just all the new stuff that the skill trees add are limited to him. For example, the new foods. Maybe he is only has the refine. He only had. Oh goodness. He's the only survivor with a palate refined enough to benefit from those foods, for example. Or maybe that, kind of like how WX, if you, in his most recent skill tree, if you invest skill points into the respective alpha, beta, or gamma circuit skills, how you get bonus buffs or thank you, Good Feather. You get bonus buffs or unique buffs. I think that could be done for Warley's foods as well. That if he eats them and you have a certain skill spec, it gives you more of a buff or it gives you a better buff. For example, Volkot Chafroy could like arc the lightning, so it's applicable for hordes as well. And I don't know, maybe Glowberry Moose just lasts for longer and is brighter. Because right now it's a pretty decent light, but it's not like a lantern. It's better than a mag, not as good as a lantern, that sort of area. So, maybe it's comparable to a lantern. Then it'd be really good. For the spices, same deal. I think that you could just give Warley additional bonuses or more potency when it comes to utilizing his own spices. Now, honestly, that's really all there is to do, because I mean his crockpots and everything else are exclusive to him. But unless you create more innate value to the character where it'd be useful to have him on the team besides just for his base kit, then there would be no reason for people to switch off. So I don't know, maybe his those fishing perks or whatever that I talked about are really good and are worth having a character play as Warley. I don't know. It all comes down to the opportunity cost of what you're losing by having a character or having a person main and stick to playing Warley, which I will always do, of course. I don't care what you say. I'm always going to play Warley, but you are losing out on, min-maxing, damage, speed, whatever you care to min-max about and don't starve. Anyways, yeah, those are just some of the broad strokes, of ideas I was, always pondering about. I've been thinking about this for forever now because, I don't know, I feel like they've been doing skill trees for a few years now maybe, and this whole time I've been thinking, man, it's about time Warley gets one. He's really hankering for a skill tree, and they just haven't done it. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do. I hope they don't botch it like they did with Wolfgang's or something. But that WX skill tree that they just dropped is really promising. except for the fact that it's kind of broken. Um, Same thing I was saying in the last video about power creep. I mean, they were just tossing things in there to make him good, not to balance him or create like a fun, whatever. Because like, I don't know, I was talking to one of my friends about it, and he's like, yeah, in theory, the lunar skill tree for WX is really good. It's just not fun to play. So I hope that doesn't happen with Warley, but I'll probably play him regardless. Yeah, anyways, if you have any other ideas or thoughts, leave them in the comments, because I am a big time Warley fan. I'd love to hear anything you've got to say. Yeah, that's about all. See you guys.